Okay, guys, welcome from around the world to we've just kicked off against this under-23 grudge match, the New Zealand under-23 men against the under-23 Canada team. Joining me here is a an Australian citizen but an old Canadian from the past, Dave Lambert. How you going, Dave?
Oh, thanks, Stewie. Yes, exciting to be here again and working with you alongside.
Yeah, good times, mate. Definitely glory days as we see the New Zealanders pressing into attack and putting a few early questions to the Canadian defence. A bit of momentum going there on the left-hand side of the wall, Dave.
Yeah, look, the New Zealanders are down, strong in numbers, driving to the tray, and I think they just pop one in. Wait for the referees.
Yeah, that's right. The puck is definitely in the tray, and that's first blood to the Kiwi under-23. It looks to be number 6 for the New Zealand team, which is Dylan Booth. Put that one in the tin for the Kiwi, so well done, Dylan.
Yeah, the New Zealand started strong right from the beginning of the game and went really hard at that and really controlled the play.
Yeah, they did. They just seemed to turn. They just seemed to turn the Canadians and turn the Canadian defence once they had numbers around the puck, and they had a nice 45 drive straight at the tray. As we see the strike kicking off for the second passage of play, and the Kiwis just going straight through the middle, and the Canadians just sort of scrambling in defence there, Dave.
Yeah, look, the Canadians came out a bit bluster there. I think they haven't responded well to that first goal and left a big hole in the middle of the pool.
Yeah, their structure just seemed to be a little bit spread. And once that Kiwi first attacker got the puck and just sort of went straight, it was sort of slow by the Canadians to respond.
Yeah, but they seem to recover well, and they've got control in the back here. Let's hope they can just hold that pressure that New Zealand's pushed on them again.
Yeah, they did recover well, and they brought that puck out to the right-hand side. The Kiwis are responding strongly again, really asking some serious questions of the Canadian defence. The Canadians doing a good job on the back wall as the puck gets recycled back around and into the centre channel, Dave.
Yeah, it looked like the Canadians are chasing the puck all over the pool. They need to settle down and get some structure back into their thing. The New Zealanders are just testing them at every point. They're challenging every point down through the 45s.
Yeah, I think it's going to be an interesting game. We're just waiting on the scoreboard to be updated so it does reflect that New Zealand has scored a goal. We need to get one goal for Black recorded for the Kiwis on the scoreboard for this feed. I'm pretty confident that the scoreboard on the pool deck says the right thing, and we'll just wait for our scoreboard to get updated. But the Kiwis have got the puck still in there attacking sort of in deep attack for them on the left-hand defensive wall for the Canadians, Dave.
Yeah, the Canadians have responded, but the New Zealanders are testing them at every moment, but the Canadians have cleared it again. Yeah, the score has been updated there, Stewie. That's good call. The deck's responded well and quickly to our messages running out there. But again, the Canadians are trying to defend him by putting it in the corner, but the New Zealanders are recycling it and recycling it and recycling it.
Yeah, that's right. You can see there the Kiwis have got a nice sort of lateral stretch in their players, and there's two Kiwis taking the puck straight into the tray.
Straight in the tray.
They were very quick to bring it off that right-hand attacking wall, sort of caught the Canadian defence off guard. And you could see they had sort of three players all next to each other, just ready to bring that puck across off the wall and into the centre channel. It was a nice double-team drive by those two Kiwi forwards there, Dave.
Yeah, they were set for that. They drew the Canadian defence into the corner. They let them make a rotational error, and they would just pounce straight on them with the strong two-man attack.
Yeah, so the Canadians definitely under a fair bit of pressure, as the Kiwis are certainly asserting their dominance on this game in the first 4 minutes of this first half in court number 1 here on day 2 of the Hobart Aquatic Centre, or Dunkenny Aquatic Centre, I should say, CMAS Age Group World Championships. And what a great day it is here in Tasmania. Nice clear weather as the Kiwis drive it over to the right-hand side of the court, Dave.
Yeah, the Canadians seemed to struggle yesterday against the Americans. They went down 4-1. They did pop one in the end, but again, I think they're just suffering from a little bit of nerves. I would expected them to settle down, but this is their second game of the tournament, so yeah, it's a big deal. A lot of these kids don't realize they're under the cameras and they're getting calls, and that's from home, and puts a little bit of pressure that they're not used to.
That's right, and I tell you what, the Canadians just had a really good drive down their left-hand side there. You can see they've got an advantage puck now against the Kiwis in deep attack for the Canadians, and hopefully the Canadians will be able to ask a couple of offensive questions of the Kiwi defence here and turn it into something positive as the puck gets driven all the way over to the left-hand attacking wall. The Canadians are hot on the puck, and the Kiwi defence is working hard to keep them out as the Kiwis just managed to establish some opposite direction momentum. You can see there's a lot of black bathers down with the Canadian defence really stretched at the moment, swimming back to try and stop that breakaway goal the Kiwis have managed to assert, but unfortunately the Kiwis just managed to get numbers on the puck and in front of the puck, Dave.
Yeah, risk and reward. I think the Canadians were a bit anxious to get that goal, and they put a lot of effort into it. Unfortunately, the defense of New Zealand was strong and cleared it, and that allowed the Canadians' defense line, as you described, to be stretched, and they weren't able to keep up with the Kiwis there.
Yeah, that's right. I'm just waiting to see if the officials can tell us which Kiwi player actually scored that goal. I think it was number 13 for New Zealand, Clark Samuel, but I'm just going to wait for the official word as the Kiwis hit the puck hard again, straight through the middle. You can see how they've got that sort of player over to the left, and maybe he knew it was always going to come to him, but he's driving a nice 45 straight through the centre channel with numbers around the puck, and the Kiwis have put that puck straight in for another goal. Let's see if the refs reckon that that's legit, Dave.
Yeah, now they're calling that's a textbook play where they sort of drew the defense one way, made them respond another way, and then cut across the thing. We see that in a number of sports, even here in Australia, in the rugby and in the Aussie rules. Fire them out one way, come back across the other, catch them off guard.
Yeah, so the Kiwis certainly asserting their dominance on this game so far with, as Dave said, a couple of textbook displays of quality team hockey there. The Kiwi lads will be happy with that. I know Matt Hart, their coach, has been working long and hard with these guys to get their fitness up to scratch, being a little bit of a fitness aficionado in his competitive days for the New Zealand Open men's team, Dave.
Yeah, it's really noticeable in the game. If you look at the numbers of Kiwis on the bottom versus the Canadians, look, they're just outnumbering them all the time. You got 4 or 5 black bays down there, and then the Canadians always on against 2 there. And numbers in this game, it just doesn't go that way. And again, you're seeing 2 attacking, 4 or 5 attacking that backline Canadian team.
Yeah, that's right. So hats off to Maddie and the full New Zealand contingent here for bringing a lot of very fit competitors. The Kiwis do a really nice sort of team drive on the right-hand side of the tray there and just managed to pop it in. The Canadian defenders are doing a lot of good work, but unfortunately the Kiwis have scored their 5th goal for the first half of the Canadian versus Kiwi under-23 men's game. With 7 minutes to go in this first half, Dave, the Kiwis are just putting on a show for us right now.
Yeah, they certainly are. I mean, and they're not using speed. They're not using brute strength as the game we saw earlier, but they're actually using a bit of finesse and moving it and drawing the Canadians in and just eliminating their numbers.
Yeah, that's right. I think the Canadians are probably getting caught a little bit sort of chasing the puck too much and sort of losing their position reference to each other, probably sacrificing a fair bit of good bottom position as the Kiwis move that puck around. And unfortunately, when you do that, especially if you're not sticking to some kind of game plan, it can open up a lot of holes through your defence. As you see, the Kiwis basically just sort of recycling the puck through that centre channel and putting another quick goal in for number 6.
Yeah, was that number 6 or number 5? I'm not sure there. Made a bit Wesnick again.
Goal and probably number 5, the scorer.
Yeah, okay. I mean, there's a lot of work done in. It wasn't just one individual on that one. That was a whole team effort there, starting from their back line positioning and moved the puck, and then again drew the Canadians into to spread too far. I didn't know the Canadians got to start rethinking about what they're doing and change it up a bit for the next little while.
Yeah, I'm sure Jordan is probably going to call a timeout soon for the Canadians to just sort of maybe just reset the guys' heads and sort of remind them what the game plan is and maybe implement a couple of different strategies. He's a smart fella, so the coach for the under-23 Canadian men's team, I'm sure he's got some things that he'd like the guys to focus on as the Kiwis push hard again and really asking some good questions of those Canadian defenders.
Yeah, the Canadians' defense was sort of down there this time, but they drew a foul, the New Zealanders, so they're being pushed back, and the Canadians are resetting their line. They look like they're sending 2 forward, and the rest of the team's behind the puck.
Yeah, that's right. They do have 2 forwards and a big, long sort of lateral line the Kiwis have got set up there to sort of block out any kind of option the Canadians had as the Kiwis sort of take the puck left, go right, and then just have a fast swimmer out there in the centre channel who's put the puck in the tray. Again, the referees are conferring, but that's goal number 7 for the Kiwis, Dave.
Yeah, no, that was that's an umbrella defense there they had set up on that play, and no matter where the Canadians were going to take the puck, they were responding quite quickly. They got a control of the puck, and they put it out wide, which the Canadians were a bit tight, and he swam around the outside and popped it in.
Yeah, again, a very impressive display by the Kiwis to just sort of turn a defensive free puck against them into a very assertive attacking move, as we see the Kiwis coming onto the puck in numbers and just sort of sliding the puck out to their right-hand side as they just sort of drill through the centre channel, using their opposition players' positions or the lack of it to their advantage as they sort of zigzag straight through that centre channel there, Dave.
I think the Canadians should take a look at that and tighten up their attack. I mean, it's really obvious on that strike. And again, the Kiwis are doing it again. Is that they hold nice and tight, and the Canadians were a bit spread, and they found lots of gaps there.
Yeah, that's right. The referees have called an infringement against the Canadians for a bit of gloving, so the Kiwis will get a little bit of an advantage puck here right in front of their attacking tray. And let's see how the Canadians can go in this defensive play.
Yep. Now let's see the set play. They moved it wide, didn't they, in that one? So draw the Canadians away from the goal tray because that's where all the Canadians were sitting.
Yeah, that's right. And the puck has actually landed up in the goal.
There you go. So they drew him out of the goal tray. They eliminated down to one player, and unfortunately, 3-on-1 can't stop a goal.
Yeah, the Kiwis are seriously showing all their sneaky little plays at the moment. That was a very nice set play where the Kiwis just sort of slid it out to the right, made the Canadians come out and sort of commit off the back wall, and I think they must have had a guy just sort of waiting on the right in the right body position, right on the back wall to just pop that puck into the tray around the Canadian defenders there, Dave.
Yeah, and I think we just had a timeout called there. Stu, I just got word from our stats runner here in the booth, and look, I don't know, a lot of people know what's going on in this booth, but we're calling the game. But look, there's a team about 20 behind us doing stuff, and just been told we have over 1,000 followers on our streaming, so we must be doing something right. The quality in the cameras, the fixes Nick put in place with the guys has sort of come to good, and I think everyone's enjoying the commentating of the games.
Wow, I mean, that's impressive. 1,000 followers out there, you guys watching from all around the world. You know, I cannot express our gratitude and our appreciation for the interest that people are putting into this competition and for these amazing under-23 and under-19 athletes that are just sort of putting on a show for us over the next sort of 7 or 8 days down here in sunny Hobart, Tasmania, Dave. What a great competition. What a great place to have this tournament.
Yeah, and you look around the deck, there's lots of emotion going on. The Kiwi girls are warming up, and the Colombians are doing their swagger dance. But we're back live here, Nate. I'm sorry, Stuart. We're back live. Kiwis taking control of the puck again. Yeah,
they're driving the left-hand wall this time, and right underneath the Canadian sub-bench, it was sort of a nice win of the strike there by the Kiwis. They immediately sort of flicked it out left and just hammered their advantage right up that left-hand wall. You can see there's sort of like, I don't know, 3, maybe 4 black bathers on or around the bottom. It's in the defensive corner for the Canadians now. They've done a good job of responding to that attack advance by the Kiwis, and that corner is definitely where the Canadians want the puck. I'm sure the Kiwis will try and get it out and back into the centre channel to try and have a crack at another goal here, Dave.
Yeah, that was some nice control by number 13 of the Canadians, Cadell and Hugo. But look, the Kiwis led them into that false sense of security and capitalized and popped another one in. It looks like number 8 popped that one in possibly. Waiting for the confirmation on that. That's Ben Richards from New Zealand. Put one in. But again, the Canadians defended well for a moment. The Kiwis drew them into the side and then recycled it back through the 45 and then attacked with full numbers.
Yeah, Benny Richards there scoring the 9th goal for the Kiwi team. Was just in the right spot, and he obviously knew that his other lads, the dudes on the Kiwi team, were basically just going to take it out of that attacking corner and just take it back through their nice structure they had set up on a 45, back into the centre channel, and Benny was just waiting there to pretty much swim it free. So the Canadian defence was pretty much bamboozled by that set play there the Kiwis had. But at the moment, we've got a good drive happening here by the Canadians. They've obviously got the bit between their teeth at this stage, Dave.
Yeah, they got to throw some caution to the wind. It's 9-0, 1 minute and 15 seconds to go in this half. They sort of got to lift their game and get into this game.
Yeah, the Kiwis are doing some good defence and a tricky little under the body move there by that Kiwi defender. Some teams would call that risky, but geez, he implemented that well. And look at the counter attack the Kiwis have generated off that move on the right hand side here, Dave.
Yeah, all the way from one end to the other. That corner, yeah, it was a risky move, but when you're 9-0 up, those risky moves. But more importantly, they play together well, and you could tell that the Kiwis were waiting for that play to come up underneath the body. Recycled it to the side, ran the 45, caught the Canadians in desperation trying to score a goal, and opened them right up and then outswam into the goal.
That's right. Nick Healy there with that big breakaway swim, the vice-captain for the Kiwi under-23 team. He's looking like a bit of a monster in the pool at the moment. He's got his Najade fins on, and he used those Najade fins to their maximum capacities. He basically just tear-assed down that pool and put that big breakaway swim in. There he goes on the replay.
No, I think this is another one going in.
Oh, that's another one for the Kiwis. So number 11, my apologies.
Yeah. Now that looked like number 8 again, who popped that one in. The referees are confirming it. Yeah, I see an 8 going up, and we have halftime called at 11-0.
11-0, number 8 for the Kiwis. Ben Richards scoring another one, and a very similar kind of smaller breakaway than the vice-captain scored that goal before, Nick Healy. Both those lads, I believe, are wearing the Najade fins, and both of them using them to their full capacity. Najade, just anecdotally, one of our major sponsors here at this tournament, and you can see a lot of the Kiwi lads in that pool there at the moment wearing those fins and using them to the best ability they can. So I know the Kiwis are very keen on those types of flippers, and those of you that are keen on underwater hockey, if you haven't tried those fins already, I recommend that you go and give them a go and see if you can generate the kind of speed and snappiness that these very fit under-23 men's New Zealand team and Canadian team are generating at the moment, Dave.
Yeah, I'm as you know, I think that the Kiwis are out there using those fins, using their strengths, and just using their gameplay, their ability to play together. They seem to know what each other is doing. They move the puck around the back, and the Canadians just have no answer for that when. They're spread like that. The Kiwis see an opportunities. Those Najade fins give them a bit of a quick jump off the mark, and they can sustain that because they've been doing the training and the strength. And I'm hoping that the Canadians can bounce back from this and see that. And the coach is actually laying down the line down there for them, and they're getting refocused and regrouped. That they got to come out here and give it a forget about 11-0. Let's get on the scoreboard.
Yeah, that's right. The Canadians have really got to just forget what the score says and try and, stamp a bit of authority onto this game in the second half and really focus on what they're trying to achieve in the pool, what their game plan is, and see what they can actually generate as a team for the second 15 minutes of this game. I mean, hats off. It's never nice being the team that's the 11-0 team down. So I reckon Jordan, the coach of the Canadian under-23 team, will bring his lads together and they'll put on a good show for us in this second half and what is a tough game against the Kiwi under-23 men.
Yeah, Jordan is a smart player. He's been at a number of worlds and participated in that. He knows what he has to say to those boys. And looking down outside, and I see them, they got their focus back. They're really keen to put on a bit of a show and hopefully now look. The Kiwis, let's hope they keep their composure and don't get too relaxed because, 11-0, that's 11 goals in one half. It can turn around on them, but unlikely. But let's see what happens. We've got about 20 seconds before we start the second half here in Hobart. And it's day 2 of the Age Group World Championships. And here we go with 10 seconds left to go.
Yeah, so you can see the lads just sort of coiled spring on those end walls there in that big 25-metre court, 15 metres wide. There's a long way to swim as they kick off from the wall, and this second half of this great game begins. Really keen to see what the Canadians can show us this half as the Kiwis straight away win the strike and sort of try and dictate the play on the right-hand side of the pool there, Dave.
Yeah, well, it looked very positive from the Canadians there. They were actually a lot tighter than I've seen them hit a strike. They were, really close in, elbows to elbows almost, and that just sort of repelled the initial Kiwi attack and pushed it to the side, and now caused the Kiwis to make a mistake, and I'll call referees. It's now their free puck.
Yeah, the Canadians take this advantage. It looks like they're setting up in a 2-3-1 formation to me. As their right-hand sort of mid-player follows that Kiwi lateral switch all the way over to the right-hand side of the far side of the court from the cameras. The Kiwis sort of maintaining good possession as they bring it I think, off that left-hand wall a little bit and try and establish a bit of momentum on that side. I tell you what, the Canadians did look like their structure was better, but the Kiwis are dictating that play as they bring it all the way around and on to 2 or 3 players as the puck just goes into the tray again, Dave.
Yeah, no, the defense, it just weren't there in numbers again. You can't defend when there's 4 or 5 guys coming straight at it, and everywhere you look around the pool, if I'm wearing a white bathers and I turn around, there's like 2 or 3 black players playing there, and number 10. Ben Pavua Smith has got his goal for today, and they're swimming back for a start.
Yeah, well done to Ben there for another good goal by the Kiwis. A really good display the Kiwis are putting on, and just how like high intensity team underwater hockey can be played. And these guys are obviously well practiced, and I really hope that the Canadians can sort of maintain their composure and keep playing their game and see this last 13.5 minutes of the second half out. It's unlikely that they're going to have any chance of coming back from this 12-0 deficit that the Kiwis have managed to get on them, Dave.
Yeah, no, they got to get their. It's good to see that their structure's a bit better and their rotations are happening better, and they got to keep building on that. Because this is only day 2 of a few more games, and they have another game today, like most of the 23s. But again, the New Zealanders are recycling; they're relentless. They're all over there, and that we got a timeout called by the referees because they need to confer on a call because that happened pretty quick. They even beat us to the punch there, Stuart.
Yeah, Pat Meaney, referee number 6 in the water at the moment, just wants to have a chat with his other refs to talk about something that he's seen, obviously, maybe some kind of gloving or stick infringement or whatever. The Kiwis on that last play did a really nice sort of very square switch across the pool, largely a swum switch, and Paddy's decided that it is going to be a penalty against the Canadians, a 2-on-1. So obviously the Canadians committed some kind of infringement within the 3-metre D that probably would have ended up in a goal if they hadn't have, Dave.
Yeah, look, well, I mean, if it was going in the tray, I'm sure both Pat and Helen there in the pool right on the goal tray would have seen it, but it's a 2-on-1, and we'll see what's going to happen. Everyone on the surface. That was an interesting decoy. We had the one of the New Zealand players swam straight to the corner, and the other player took it to the other side, confused the Canadian, and that little hesitation resulted in the captain, number 9, Liam Robertson, to have a clear shot into the goal tray, and that adds number 12 or 13 to the scoreboard. 13, it is 13.
Yeah, it looked to me like the second Kiwi guy, the guy that wasn't on the puck, just sort of swam to the right-hand side of the tray and dragged that Canadian defender over to him as the captain took the puck and sort of looked like he was going to flick it to his Kiwi compadre the whole time as the Kiwis drive the right-hand side straight off the strike. Again, just sort of displaying how good these guys are in numbers as they drive all the way to the corner of the tray, and it looks to me like they're going to put in another goal here against the Canadian defence.
Yeah, the defense just has no answer there. He was out-muscled. He got isolated again, and there was a Kiwi on his left shoulder and a Kiwi on his right shoulder, and lo and behold, that Sims puck went straight in the bottom of the tray.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, it's never nice, like I said before, being on the receiving end of this kind of score difference. The Kiwis are definitely putting on a show for the world at the moment. Just how quality hockey is played in the Kiwi style as they win another strike and just sort of drive or try and drive straight through that Canadian structure. You can see how many black bathers are on the bottom as they sort of recycle the puck and just go straight at the Canadians again, Dave.
Yeah, but the defense is holding better this time initially. It's probably the third and fourth phase we see, and here we're at the third and fourth phase, and boom, they sort of repel the first attack. Then the Kiwis are relentless, and they're recycling and recycle again, second, third, and again we saw the fourth wave. By that time, the defense had no answer, couldn't clear it out, and popped it straight into the tray.
Yeah, it's funny how just basic hockey concepts really sort of need to be remembered in this case when you are on the receiving end of a very good opposition attack. Like, obviously the Kiwis have got their stuff sorted and they're sort of dictating the play as much as they like at the moment. But the Canadians, I think, just need to remember good body position, good positioning off each other, nice and tight, and focus on screening and just gaining possession and keeping it off the Kiwi sticks. If they can do that, they should at least be able to slow down this onslaught that the Kiwis have, sort of implementing at the moment, Dave.
Yeah, I think this young Canadian team is falling trap to the as soon as I get the puck, I got to turn the puck and try to score a goal. And when you're in defense, it's really about getting hold of that puck and stopping it from doing what it's doing right now, recycling to the middle of the tray and going straight in the goal tray.
Yeah, it does not look like the Kiwis are going to take their foot off the pedal at all if the Canadians don't make them. So if the Kiwis keep this pace up, they're probably going to end up with another 5 to 10 goals in the tin. I mean, I really do hope that the Canadians can just sort of pull together and start to execute some of those basics of hockey that good defence is sort of based around. But we will definitely see. But regardless, I'm sure those Canadian lads are enjoying their time down here in Hobart, Tasmania, Dave.
Yeah, we were host Hugo down here learning a bit of hockey, and I've never been involved. I've been involved in sport for a number of years, and I've never seen a Canadian team. They'll be playing for 9 minutes and 47 seconds, let me tell you, and they'll be putting their hearts out there and trying to drive these Kiwis back to pop in a few goals.
Yeah, the Canadians are definitely looking like they're having more better crack at a counter attack at the moment. The refs have called an infringement, unfortunately, against the Canadians. But that last 30 to 45 seconds, you could see the Canadians starting to dictate the play to counteract what the Kiwis are trying to do there, Dave.
Yeah, they're starting to lift, and they're sort of getting tired of having the buzzer going the other way, and they're just sort of getting they're chasing that puck and putting a lot extra effort in here. Let's hope they can hold that and hold the formations. There's numbers down on the bottoms, and drive it back towards the Kiwis and put them under a bit of pressure. And we see some ferocious action going up on the wall. But, again, we've got a 3-on-1 situation with the Kiwis dragging in. That's risk and reward. You got to put it out there and try to score a goal, and that causes your back line to defend. And looks like number 5 for New Zealand, which is Nick Howson, scores another one. Again, that was really a symptomatic of the Canadians being a bit desperate, trying to drive in a goal and then isolate their defenders in a 3-on-1 swim. A 3-on-1, you're not gonna win against a Kiwi drive like that, Stuart.
Yeah, that's right. I guess the Canadians were really desperate to sort of generate some kind of momentum on their left-hand side there, which led them to committing probably one too many defenders onto the puck aggressively. The Kiwis sort of turned it around as again they push into that tray and they've put the puck in a tin for number 18 with 8 minutes to go in this game. The referees say that number 10 scored that one, so Ben Pavior-Smith was the scorer for the Kiwis in that case. But yeah, the Canadians definitely at the moment having no answer to this very strong Kiwi offensive display in this game in day 2 here, Dave.
Yeah, no, it's a young Canadian team, and New Zealand have really strong numbers of players everywhere, and there's some frustrations going on the Canadians, but you got to remember they probably got a couple more worlds in them, and I'm sure Jordan will be working hard with them for the next game this afternoon. And unfortunately, we're seeing a big score here. I think this is the biggest one of the tournament so far. I look back on yesterday's score, and I can't see anything. I see a 15, but I don't see an 18 or anything like that.
Yeah, and I mean, I must admit that I don't think the Canadians have sent this many young players to an underage World Championships before. So, I mean, I'm sure there are some dynamics in the Canadian team that are a little bit different to the under-23 New Zealand team. I know they're a mainstay sort of maximum amount of teams in the underage World Championships, the Kiwis. So I'm sure that these Canadian guys are enjoying the competition for what it is, even in this game. And I'm sure, like as always, you always learn more from losing than you do from winning. And these guys are definitely going to have a lot of lessons that they can take away and build on from here as there's a timeout called and both teams get a minute's rest here, Dave.
Yeah, I agree with you there, Stuart, where I think the Canadians have to regroup after this one because they got another game this afternoon. And as I said, against the Great Britons who just won over the U.S., and it was a tight game for the Great Britons. In the pool, I interviewed the captains, the vice captain of the U.S. and the Great Britain player, and they said it was a hard game, but the scoreboard didn't reflect it. But it was interesting. Hopefully, the Canadians here will get an idea of how the hockey's played, and then they'll learn and grow better from this one.
That's right. As the Kiwis get an advantage puck and the puck gets driven out onto the left-hand side of the Kiwi attack, the Canadians trying desperately to just sort of keep that puck in the corner. You can see the black bathers of the Kiwi offense just sort of sitting in that kind of loiter area right on the corner of the tray, and he gets that puck. Can he actually put it into the tray here or not? The Canadians doing a really good job of defending him across the other side of the court there. A very good display of defence by the Canadians in that case, Dave.
Yeah, Nick Healy there took it into the corner, but that was in support of his defensive, which I didn't catch the number there, who drove it into the corner, repelling to two Kiwis, one on either side. Smart play, and then Nick came in and supported him on that. So the Canadians are recycling it there. Number 8, there's Hugo. He spent some time here in Hobart early on to get some acclimatizing to the weather and play some high-level hockey here in Hobart. Now we got a referee's call. We got gloving by the New Zealand team. The Canadians will get a free puck with just under 6 minutes to play in the second half here at the Durham Aquatic Centre. And I must say this aquatic center is looking really good with all the color around it, and the state government has been supporting the center quite well with its planned future developments here. Hopefully we'll get another hockey pool with a bit more depth in it.
Yeah, that's right, Dave. As the Canadians go for a good drive down the left-hand side and a nice defensive move there by the Kiwi defender to take it into the centre channel and sort of recycle that puck to his awaiting Kiwi forwards in that centre channel. The Canadians just sort of managing to nullify the last couple of Kiwi attacks on their defence, which is good signs for the Canadians as the Kiwis press right into the attacking tray. And unfortunately for the Canadians, it looks like the Kiwis are going to put this one in the tin. We'll wait and see what happens. Maybe they've actually managed to keep it out. There's a lot of black bathers down there. Lots of desperate defending going on by the Canadians. I believe the puck has ended up in the tray. There was a lot of bodies on the bottom. The referees are conferring, and yes, that is goal number 19 for the Kiwis. I think that was number 10 who put that in for the New Zealand guys. Ben Pavior-Smith again for his possibly third or fourth goal for this game.
Yeah, they look like they might crack the 20. We've got 4 minutes left. Given the pace they score goals, seems to be about every minute 20 or less. So they may break that magic 20.
Yeah, that's right. And I'd quickly like to give a shout-out to Lee Stinson, if you're watching out there. For those of you that don't know, if you've seen the logo for this championships, the two hockey sticks with the two green and gold eels wrapped around the hockey sticks, that was Lee Stinson's beautiful artwork, original artwork as the Kiwis press this tray. And I'd just like to say a very big congratulations and thank you to Lee, who basically gave us all her time and gave the World Underwater Hockey community a lot of her time to develop that design and make our logo the quality logo that it is, Dave.
Yeah, and when it first came out, everyone was looking at it. It looked like a bit of dragon. It's got a bit of calmness in it. It's got about aggression, but it represents hockey, how it's entanglements in there, and in the game display, the black and white bats in there. Yeah, it was well designed, well thought out, and shows years of being on the hockey courts and following the game.
Yeah, that's right. Now, as the Kiwis drive on the tray again, the Canadians desperately trying to stop them from pressing into their goals, but a nice little sort of reverse curl by that Kiwi forward there, and just reverse curled onto Kiwi numbers coming onto the tray, and the Canadians just having no answer for goal number 20. The Kiwis have put in 20 goals in the last 27 minutes with 3 minutes to go, Dave.
Yeah, as we said earlier, this is a classic demonstration of strong Kiwi hockey. It demonstrates their time they spent training and those hours rehearsing those type of play. You saw the Kiwi make a lovely tight curl, but he came back not only for the first attack, but a second and a third attack on the puck. And they came out win the strike again. They're just going for continually goals here, and they're trying to overrun the Canadians, which they're doing quite well. But come on, Canadians, let's hold this one out.
Yeah, the Kiwis going on another big drive down the right-hand side. You can see how many black bathers are on the bottom there as they put in another goal. The Canadians just really struggling to sort of nullify the Kiwi attack. And number 12 for the Kiwis put that goal in. That's Nick Healy, or sorry, number 13 again. Not number 12. It was Clark Samuel putting the goal in for the Kiwis there. Well done, Clark, for a very nice team goal. Just got onto the end of that one in the perfect position. I'm sure he's practiced that a lot of times in training before. And 21 goals, Dave. We've got 2 minutes to go and a timeout's been called here.
Yeah, and they all gone to the bench after that lovely swim by Clark. I think that was his first goal of this game. So well done. He swam to the bench straight away to get have a sub, bring the mask off just to get some air back onto that because no, they've been working hard. They're not easy goals, but they're having to drive hard. But again, it's just a simple game of numbers. They have the numbers on the bottom. The Canadians need to sort of regroup again, and I'm sure Jordan's out there telling him to regroup for this last bit. Let's bring some dignity back in. They've been playing really well, but they've just been over-dominated by this impressive effort by this well-drilled New Zealand team.
Yeah, that's right. The Canadians have just got to take out of this game what they can and just sort of move forward. I mean, you know, when you're playing a dominant team like the Kiwis are in this game, it's very hard to sort of play any kind of your game plan. You know, the guys are obviously trying their hardest and you know, like in the end, they've just got to, you know, do what they can and see this game all the way out to the last second as they are now. They're starting to ask a couple of questions of the Kiwi defence. You can see the Kiwis facing backwards. They will probably try and take it out to the right there as a referee has called a gloving foul, a gloving infringement on the Kiwis, and the Canadians will get an advantage puck just underneath the Kiwi sub-bench there, Dave.
Yeah, the Canadians were driving there and trying to link up with a couple of players with a flick, and accidentally the Kiwi knocked it down. So the referees were right on top of that and called it for the Canadians, and they're again taking it. They're taking it in that mode where they have more players behind the play of the puck rather than out in front where we're more used to, where we sort of commit more players in front, where they're committing more players behind the puck to contain their momentum. And we're back in the middle of the pool, and the Kiwis seem to got the puck back, but after the Canadians drive, but the Canadians are recycling strong back to defend their strive. But again, you know, you can't defend three players driving in shoulder to shoulder being a one lone Canadian.
Yeah, that's right. I think the Canadians might be playing a similar base structure to the Kiwis, 2-3-1. But what I've just noticed is that the Canadians are going very square on their back line whenever they try and push any kind of advantage onto the Kiwis. And the problem with that structure is that as soon as the Kiwis turn that puck around and nullify any kind of Canadian attack, if the Canadian backline is square and the Kiwis are very good at counter-attacking, then essentially they just set up a position where they've got 3-on-2 or 3-on-1, Dave, and they've done that repetitively against the Canadians today.
Absolutely, and I think you hit it right there, Nick, Stuart, you see it again happening right now where they've squared up. They tried to attack, put a lot of their resources, the Canadian resources, in attacking that one point, but that isolates that lone back there. And as you said, being square like that and the puck comes through and there's 3 or 4 New Zealand streaming on, you have very limited opportunity.
Well, I mean, that's full-time called by the chief referee, and this game, the under 23 Canadian versus New Zealand men's is over with a very definitive display by the New Zealand under 23 men's, 22-0. The Canadians are just going to have to go away and learn their lessons, lick their wounds, and come back bigger and stronger for the next game. As you can see there, the Kiwis huddling up and probably going to do a bit of a team chant. I'm sure those lads are pretty happy with their efforts today. And the Canadians, I'm sure, will do their own little team chant, team talk. And in the end, it's all about good competition, which this game definitely was. So they'll shake hands and you know, enjoy for what it was, regardless of if they won or lost today, Dave.
Yeah, again, I think the Canadians will always bounce back. They're saying thanks, congratulations to the Kiwis who showed them a dominant example of how New Zealand hockey is played. They were definitely outplayed today. But they'll respond. They'll go home, learn. They'll regroup for their afternoon game against Great Britain. New Zealand lines up against Colombia. I don't think they'll have as easy a time at that game, but we might try to get on deck and catch up with a couple of players and see what it was like from their end.
Yeah, sounds good to me, mate. And hopefully you can catch a couple of these players on the pool deck. Thanks a lot for listening, guys.
Okay, we're here with number 3.
Louis Flavel-Burge.
Louis, congratulations. Very dominant game in the pool for you today. Great display of strong New Zealand hockey and support. How'd you feel in there playing?
We felt pretty good. We were just really trying to work on things and try to perfect as much as we could leading up into the games we got later today. So, yeah.
Yeah, you got Columbia this afternoon. The numbers you had demonstrated on the play and the recycling, you were relentless against the poor young Canadian team.
Yeah, we pride ourselves on being really fit and staying on the bottom and swimming hard, so, yeah.
Yeah, well done. Congratulations on the win, and I look forward to seeing your game. Any shout out for the fans here tonight or this morning? Sorry, it's not night yet. I think I've been here all night. But any hellos for any special people back home?
Just to my family, my mum Linda, my girlfriend Christy, and my dad Wayne, and my sister Alice, and also my coach's son Alex. So shout out to them. Thanks for watching and supporting us.
Yeah, good luck in the rest of the tournament, and thanks for joining us here on the couch.
Cheers, thank you.
Come on in there. Yes. Sorry, we've got number 3, vice captain.
Mackenzie Edwards.
Mackenzie, hard game in there. Is this your first Worlds, Mackenzie?
Yeah, this is everyone in our team's first Worlds. We've basically come together as a team maybe 6 months ago, and we don't get to play with each other often, so...
Well, there's a classic demonstration today. Unfortunately, you were on the other end of it, but I think there's some lessons in there. And we saw, the coach was talking to you, and you came out in the second half, and you started really well, recycling the puck. How'd you feel? I mean, it was a one-sided game, but it's your first Worlds.
Yeah, they just had a bit more speed on us, we thought, just swinging it around the back there. When we were getting our channel drives going, we were doing quite well on there, and we started picking it up. But then I think the boys sort of got a bit disheartened once it started getting to the 20. But we'll get better as the competition goes on. This is a learning experience. Everyone but one player in our team can come back for this grade next in 2 years' time. So we'll definitely sort of build on towards that, and yeah.
Well, that's fantastic, and it's really good that you're actually here participating. I think the lessons from my perspective for you guys is that you did see a very fit, strong, well-drilled Canadian team. New Zealand team. That's something you can work on. You got Great Britain this afternoon, so you got to regroup for that. Are you going to take the time and do that?
Yeah, definitely. I think that's a game we're definitely targeting as one that we can definitely have a go at and maybe even pull a scalp on them. We think our style of gameplay, we've watched a couple of their games, we can definitely compete with them, especially based off their performance against the US this morning. So we definitely think we can have a go in that game and give them a run for their money.
Well, commiserations on that game. But like you said, it's a learning experience. And good luck this afternoon. And enjoy the rest of the tournament. And look forward to back on the couch.
Thanks very much.